Good afternoon. I can't help it. I do enjoy this stuff. And of course, I'm lazy enough. There's my door, there's the truck. So I can unload it and it's just right here. No. I'll add in here what the highway looks like up in the pass, because that's only a couple miles up the road from my place. And definitely quite it's one of those things. I'm used to driving in snow and on roads like this, so that's why, like, take my headset off. That's why, like, when I see people, you know, fucking mama, hold up, girl, I'll get you more water. Yep, I'll get you more water. But I just find it funny though when I see people post from up north and all that stuff, and they freak out over a couple inches of snow, and the people up there can't really, you know, it's like they act like they can't drive in it. It's like, some of you should be used to it by now, you know, especially after, you know, if you've been living here for 5-10 years, whatever, you should have your duck feet by now, and your beaver tail, and a little bit of, you know, the snowshoes too up here, because, you know, while living in Oregon, it doesn't matter if you're in the valley or where I'm at now. I mean, where I'm at now, I'm Portland's like, what was it, like 400, 500 feet above sea level. Where I'm at's like 4,000 feet above sea level. So, yeah. I literally live on the side of a mountain. Which I don't know, I love it here, but I'm not really happy at this house or anything. Like I've said before, I'd stay in the area if I had a different home to live in, because this one's been hell for me. But it is what it is. No, I'll just, when I go to move, I plan on getting out of the fucking state and head east from here. Because, yeah, I don't really, no, honesty, I don't really feel welcome here in Oregon. So, and other than my parents, I really don't have anything left here. Misha's so happy. She's like, oh, the snow. As soon as we got here and they got out of the truck, they were just dashing through it like crazy. Now I got a few trips to make between the house and the truck. That's why I parked real close to the house like I did. Because, yeah. One of the gifts my mom got for me, which is cool, I actually needed some of these. Because I only have, like, the one spatula, the one set of tongs, that type of thing. I don't have any of these soup spoon things. Like the ladles and shit. I don't have that stuff. So, I won't have to use a teaspoon or a tablespoon for ladling soup, or just try to pour it into a bowl without making a mess or anything. No, it was an alright drive. It was, for most part, quiet. Obviously. Thankfully my headset holds power like it does. Because when I have the window open, it gets hard for me to hear. Sometimes, like the radio, or like on my phone, I'll listen to, I guess you could say I listen to podcasts and shit off my phone. And so it gets really hard for me to hear, so I use my headset to be able to listen. I have to shut that door because the dome light will stay on. Otherwise, the other door, for some reason, doesn't activate it. But I'm happy the headset lasts like it does, because, yeah, otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't put that there. I put this up over here. I had to stop. I was stopping to see if I couldn't find a sled somewhere. I stopped at Sportsman's first because I actually would really been wanting to get one of those utility sleds. The Schaefer utility sled things. Just this small one, the junior. Because it'd make it easier to, you know, if I got stuck at the bottom of the driveway, it's easier to pull the stuff up in a sled. Something for a video later. Oh gosh, I gotta throw my bananas out. A little overripe. Watch out, Momo. No, and thankfully too, while at the market, I went ahead and grabbed at Wally World, thankfully they have a cheap projector screen, because I grabbed my portable projector and stuff, so that way when I go watch a movie I can on the wall and be like, fuck yeah, movie time. And since I got Planet of the Apes series on tape now, I love those movies, including the new ones. I love them all. But no, I got those and I brought my VCR down. I can watch those. I can hook that to the projector instead of the TV. What I think is funny is I wasn't going to say much. This is also another little gift thing, because from my mom, and it will come in handy. We already had one of these in the trailer. We just, of all things, we actually never used it. But I'll use the coffee pot and all that, and I'll give the, well, I will use the little, what is it, a convection oven or some shit like that. I will use those. Because I do, I have a convection oven that I use that is actually in storage right now. And I haven't used that one for a while, but I do like them a lot because of how they cook. You know, I can't help it. I actually like how they cook. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact of my movie addiction, I could probably live in a tiny home real easy. That's where part of me thought about just getting a tiny home and then getting like one of the shipping containers that is converted to like a little like office looking thing. Cause then I could put all my movies in there, of all things. That has been my biggest dealio is fucking movies. A lot of them do trigger memories, just like, you know, songs will, or smells will do the same. Movies do so more for me than those, but like when it comes to songs or smells, it's very specific. But movies, I can almost watch any movie and it will it'll trigger memories for me. I just haven't really sat and watched any for a bit. I'm trying to, I gotta separate. Okay, this one's got movies in it. And these are my clothes. These are actually clean clothes because I made sure I did laundry. I had some of my laundry detergent stuff still up there. Yes, you guys can follow me out. We're having fun. But all I've got is just, Well, I'm going to be washing the blanket I used while up there. And then, got my charger. And then I've got a little bit of, like a pair or two of dirty clothes from my jammies. So, yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay, this is the box with my projector, stuff like that. There's my favorite VCR. It's a top loader. I know most people know what VCRs are, but depending on how old you are, you're probably used to seeing the ones that load on the front. This one loads on the top, and I like these a lot more because it's not only harder for the tape to jam up, but they're easier to clean. All that. I can't really fully explain it, other than this is like my favorite of the. That's the other thing of the collection, and I do mean collection of VCRs I have. I have like right around a dozen or more, and that includes the TV VCR combos, the little ones, and then I think I got one big one that I haven't really used. But my movie room, before, all that shit, I was trying to get it set up to like it was my man cave type thing, and I was doing it up like my little Blockbuster, like an old school hole-in-the-wall movie rental. But that's the thing, is I grew up when when I was a kid, we were going to video stores before Blockbuster existed. And then Blockbuster came in, and that was pretty much really the only video store we really had for most part. We had some privately owned ones. We had a few of them. This is my projector and stuff. But, like, the one Blockbuster that I went to in Oregon City up there, the reason why I love that one so much, or loved it so much, next to the Hollywood Video that used to be out there, by the Oregon City theaters there, and the old Danielson's, which is no longer existent. I guess I pulled one of the branches off coming up the driveway. But when my family first started going to that one, it was originally called First Stop Video, and it had existed at the Oregon City Fred Meyer's, where the Starbucks is now. So if you decide to go Google up the Oregon City Starbucks, and you see the location where Fred Meyer's is, it's part of the same building. That was the old original video store there. Then there was the Beaver Creek Video, where Beaver Creek Store used to be. The building's still there, but it's like I want to say a grooming place or something, like a pet grooming place or something. I've just never seen it open, to be honest. But we had started going there when I was obviously a really young kid. I was like 5, 6 years old, some shit like that. And sorry. Got my radio finally. But just a big blanket, and a quilt, and a puppy blanket. But no, I had started going there, and one of the employees, her first name was Sue. I won't say last name or anything. She had started working there. I'm not sure if it was like shortly after high school, that type of thing. But I know she had started working there like she was still in college or some shit. And like I said, I was just really, really young. I was like 5 or 6. And this was right around the time when, like, movies like The Barbarians or The Barbarian Brothers, as others would be familiar with, Ghoulies, the first one, Critters, the first Critters movie, those movies went right around that time when they all came out. And I can't believe I remember that much. I can go in depth of even more. Like, I'm trying not to do that. But we had been going there all the way up until they had moved over to the new shopping center. I want to say in the early 90s, where it's Albertsons now. Well, not now. It's always been Albertsons there, but it used to be Albertsons, Kmart, and all that. Berry Hill Shopping Center in Oregon City. Excuse me. I guess I'll put this over here. It's my laundry, but yeah. But when it moved over there, we obviously followed over and continued. And that, I mean, it was like 85 is when we first started being patrons to the business, to that particular video store business and ownership, all that. Well, then it became Moyer's first stop, and then I want to say mid to late 90s, that's when Blockbuster bought them out, and they became Blockbuster. And this whole time, the employee Sue had been working there the whole time, and all. She loved it. I loved going there. It was the not just the experience. I got to know the employees. I grew up with this lady. That's the whole point of that. She watched me grow up from around 5, 6 years old, all the way up until she got to meet my 2 sons. And so, you know, just the whole experience, the memory of all that, it was a big part of my life. You know, because, you know, even though we couldn't afford to go on vacations and do all that stuff, I still got to go to the video store. And I loved it. And when I was living on my own, I would always go to the same one. And I could be in there for hours. And I would go through through each and every movie to make sure I tried to watch something new all the time. And I might find an old classic. And I wouldn't just find, like, new releases, like a new release. I'd find some old ones. It got to the point I'd start watching all the foreign flicks and everything like that, too. And they knew, they knew my favorites in film, so they could were able to even tell me, hey, you need to check out this movie. I just saw this. This was freaking great, blah, blah, blah. Like, what was it? Troll Hunter, I think it was one of them. And then there were some other ones. And that was actually right around the time that the place closed. It was just a couple years later. But because that whole thing, you know, really impacted me like it did, the whole experience, that's why that was kind of like my dream man cave. Yet at the same time, that kind of did more than just, you know, when it comes to, you know, sparking memories overall. I mean, it was just... That was just my thing. I guess you could say my thing. It was how I was able in some ways to be able to learn how to relate to people. Like in elementary school and all that, the primary thing that kind of linked me to a couple of my friends real well was not necessarily just video games, but was movies and cartoons and TV shows and stuff like that. And as kids... When I was a kid, we didn't have Cartoon Network. You know, I remember when Cartoon Network came about in the 90s or whatever, but we had our cartoons in the mornings for like 1 to 2 hours, and then we had our cartoons after school for like 1 to 2 hours, and then it would convert to mostly like family shows type things, like, you know, Full House and all that, or in the 80s it was probably like, if I remember, it was like Life Goes On, Growing Pains, and Facts of Life, Webster, Punky Brewster. I mean, I'd go down that list. But It's just, I know some can find it strange that my memories are linked to all that stuff, but they are, because not only that, you'll see things in those that they're like visual time machine, like a visual time machine in a way, because you'll see technology and cars, clothing, hairstyles, all this stuff you will not see anymore, really anywhere else other than in those movies, because a lot of times those things become lost and forgotten, and then unless you're watching like something like on American Pickers, or something on YouTube or whatever, when it comes to storage units and shit like that, where they're buying them up and they're like, hey, you won't really see this stuff anymore. There's a lot of things that this generation will never see, even on YouTube, that only exists in those movies. And there's a lot of movies that are now out of print, OOP, that won't go to DVD or Blu-ray or digital. They'll just, unless somebody, uploads it to the archive.org website or some shit like that, you won't see these things ever again. So it's like, it's almost like a visual museum. No, Momo. Misha, get out of the way. I gotta get that stuff down. You're in the way. Move, puppy. You can't go down. Come on, you get down here. But no, there's just a lot to it. I mean, that's where, like, it's like the Clerks movies. I grew up with those, and those films directly are towards my generation. You got Gen X and everything, which I'm a part of Gen X and, the millennial generation. I'm a Xennial. With an X, not a Z. But I like those, and I could sit and watch those and be like, yeah, I remember when we used to do that. I probably would have been, at that point, been the equivalent of the annoying little brother, probably. The annoying middle school, freshman year in high school type little brother. So, by that point, for when it comes to age-wise. But no, I was definitely the annoying little brother age when it came to being back in the 80s. But no, honestly, I don't really think I really annoy my brothers too much. I get along with them pretty good, actually. And then, like, same thing with my old foster brother and sister and all, which I still love them to death. We haven't, like my foster brother and everything like that, I haven't seen or talked to him in 20-something years. And then my foster sister, I've talked to her a couple times, over the years and all that sense. But yeah, no, there's a lot that, as much of, I guess you could say that when it comes to my movies, what kind of fuels that addiction isn't just the memories, it's what helps me be able to remember the few good moments that I had and the people that I knew. I had a lot of stagnation. I dealt with a lot of abuse growing up. I also dealt with growing up the first, literally growing up into adulthood, having no clue that I was on spectrum, but got to sit and deal with the bullying, got to deal with the degradation, all of it that comes with it. The manipulations, everything. Like, I got to deal with all that. And I went, up until I was 40, dealing with, a lot of I still battle with depression. But I went up until 40, and that's when I found out that I was on spectrum. And when my folks found out about it and all that, and they looked back and they started looking up everything on what the diagnosis was, because I have Asperger's, I had the high functioning. And they were like, holy shit, we finally have an answer to what's been going on all these years. And why he was the way he was growing up. Why we had the struggles that we did. You know, myself and my parents. Because I won't say I was the only one in that sense. But other than my coat and maybe a couple other things, I got everything I need. I'm not doing it anymore. Oh wait, I gotta get the cooler out of the back end of the truck. Yeah. Needed that. It's like grab a few things for food on the way down too. But no, I hope that when I find my my next place, because like the one place I was really, really hoping to put a bid on, that place is sold now. A little heartbreaking, but whatever. There'll be another home that I'll like just as much popping up. Okay. Last trip to the truck. Hope you guys have been enjoying that. 30 minutes to do this bullshit. You'd almost think I brought in a whole lot of stuff, but a lot of it was just having to bring in little individual things like blankets and that bullshit. Oh, man. That's what I get for grabbing the jack. Because I put it in the way to keep the styrofoam cooler from bouncing all over the place and possibly flying out. Sorry. Yeah, I had to tape it too so that way the lid didn't go flying off and hit somebody's car and causing a big explosive, accident. And then, everybody hates me because I accidentally, caused a 200 car pileup. I'm completely exaggerating. Obviously. Oh, shit. There we go. Fucking done. But at the same time, I'm not done. I'm just done doing the back and forth between the truck and all. And now I get to go through the next phase of, I guess you could say, unpacking stuff. Put some things away, other things, excuse me, go right in the laundry or fridge and freezer. I know these little shitlins are bugging me because they know I grabbed them something while at Wally World. Got some country fried steak. I actually prefer making those, but by hand, but whatever. Some of Tina's burritos. Sorry. I've got a big ass thing of bacon up in here. I'm talking a big ass thing of bacon. And I was able to get another roast. Because now I got the Dutch oven. I keep wanting to call it a crock pot. To me, it's like the same thing. Just one of them you put in the oven, the other one or on top of the stove, either or, and one you just plug it in and turn the thing on. There's not really any difference to me. Hey, sweet. And one of the most important things, and probably the only pork product I eat outside of sausage for country gravy, bacon. 3 pounds of bacon. This, though, I gotta let it semi-thaw so that I can break it down and all that, because, yeah. I mean, some years ago, I was a total fat kid and I could break it down. Or not just break it down, but eat it. Eat that whole 3 pounds. I don't know how many times my brother Jess and I, and even my old friend Casey and I, when he would live with, because he had gotten basically kicked out of his house and all that. His parents were... See, parents back then, kids were pretty strict. They still had that strict nature. But, he was living with us. We took in my friend Casey, and he'd been living with us. And in the middle of the night, we'd... Didn't matter if it was a 1 pound or a 5 pound pack of bacon. We would cook that fucking pack of bacon and we would eat that shit. Like 1997 at Wally World, I can't complain. And I know the puppies are waiting for something special. I got some parchment paper for a little project later, but also so that for cooking. Okay, these jars go in here because I gotta wash them. Because those go for my little project vid later. Puppy's got cookies. And we got some Chewies. And while at Wally World, I saw they had one of these on sale. I said, fuck it. Let's have some fun and play with some Legos tonight. It feels weird because once I hit a certain age, I was just kind of taught that really adults shouldn't be playing with toys. Unless they're made for the adults, right? But yeah. No, finally got back down and just kind of gonna try and take it easy, you know. I'm gonna... I need a better stand or something for my phone. But I'm gonna try. I can't really say it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna try and make one more trip up there before the end of the year. If not, you know, another one back up to the beginning of January. Here you go, Mama. Pooh Bear. Oh, those are stuck together. Here you go. But, oh, I guess I could put these, break these out so that they can go in the sink. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a good day. You know what? I'm gonna probably upload another vid here later for fun. Closer to dinner time, maybe a little after, considering dinner time's like in 2-3 hours anyways. So, thanks for watching, and have a good night.